Hello, my name is Kenny Collier. I'm a student at Colorado Christian University, and this is a presentation on perception and culture. Web-based cognition, according to Sabat's 2012, says there is some consistency between first impressions formed in response to observations made in the real world and impressions based on web pages. She also says a person's expressivity, meaning smile, generally creates a positive attitude. The more limited online cues regarding the other person may take on more powerful meaning than if you had nonverbal cues to take into consideration when assessing others. So basically what she's saying here is that web-based cognition can be just as powerful, if not more powerful, than meeting someone in person. How cultures relates to our perceptions of others and ourselves? Well, Sabat's 2012 says, differences in social behavior between individuals arise from the fact that humans learn from one another. She also goes on to say that culture groups and can perpetuate certain beliefs, and this information accumulates over time. Thus, the sort of information that different cultures posture can lead to different beliefs and behaviors because others in the local environment have them. So, yes, culture can influence how we perceive others. Every culture has their own belief system and their own world that they live in. And it's up to us whether we adapt to their culture or just refuse to do so. How does perception vary across cultures? Well, Borelli, 2015, said there are three ways to relate to culture. We can complain, which you believe that your beliefs that your behaviors are the right behaviors. We can complain about it, which basically means it happens that you will either isolate yourself into a social bubble that forms as living and segregation of society, or we can conform, which implies you're observing, learning, understanding the behaviors of others, adapting your own so that it fits with the behaviors of the society you're in. He also went on to say, we all see the world through cultural glasses, the lenses through which we see the world shapes our reality. You can change the lens only not only can you change the way your brain perceives behaviors, but you can change the way people relate to cultural differences. In other words, we can either complain, or we can adapt to the culture around us and conform to way they believe as well, and to learn from them. Compare and contrast cultures. Well, let's see. I chose to compare and contrast between Japan and the United States. Japan's culture, according to World Atlas, says that Japan is a largely secular society whose people value harmonious relations with others by giving back and regard fulfilling the social duty as more than personal individuality. World Atlas also says there are three vital values that anchor Japan's social relations: order, harmony, and self-development. And also goes on to say religious practices also emphasize the importance of harmonious relations with humans and spiritual beings and fulfillment of social obligations within family and community. So Japan seems to be pretty much a type of culture that relies heavily on each other and within their own communities. In the United States, Zimmerman 2017 said the United States was built on immigration from other countries. He also went on to say the United States is one of the most diverse countries in the world. And and different groups of immigrants integrate in different ways in the U.S. Catholic Spanish-speaking communities, for example, might keep their language and other cultural family traditions, but are integrated in the urban community and have embraced the American way of life. So there again, the United States is, of course, a big, huge melting pot of all these different cultures and belief systems. But as a general rule, they also have conformed into our way of life and our way of thinking. Things that surprised me in all this, as I studied it, was that America does not have an official language. I found this to be very interesting in that there are so many different languages in the United States, but I never realized that America does not have its own official language, and that Japanese vital values are order, harmony, and self-development. And I guess what surprised me about that was the fact that most cultures appear to be in that way. In Japan also, the children are taught that fulfillment comes through association with others. So with them, it's very important that they socialize with other people. Has anything changed my previous perceptions or impressions about Japan? Well, I didn't realize the culture in Japan seems to be built on helping and associating with others. This is very biblical, considering that the Bible tells us that we are to help the widows and orphans, and this is very interesting. It'd be nice if more cultures did this. This has been my presentation of my perceptions and cultures and how we think of each other. And I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you've learned something from it. Thank you.